Hello, everybody. This is Scooby.
And I'm Steven. Welcome back to another episode of The Feedback, where us two dudes slash gentlemen like to bring each other new music, and by proxy, also to any one of you that decides to listen with us, and then we decide to discuss it. Normally, the person bringing the song is the only one in the know about what we're listening to today, and we try to keep that trope going. I mean, we've been using trope a lot lately, so I just said that, but whatever. We're leaving that go for now. And we like the way that it kind of works out, so hopefully you do too. Scoobs, why don't we discuss our drinks today? Because I remembered, haha, as
Haha.
our semi-new tradition, I will be drinking two things today. I brought water and chocolate milk because I don't think alcohol or soda or anything else would mix well with chocolate milk. What about you?
I've got the triple threat going on again. I,
Nice.
uh, I've got a Heineken because I have a 12 pack of Heineken in my fridge and I gotta get through it. And then I also have a Turkey Hill mango lemonade. And of course, I've got some good old water. Gotta stay
You mentioned
hydrated.
that mango lemonade. How was that? I haven't had that one yet.
Mm, it's not my favorite.
Okay.
I'm discovering that when it comes to Turkey Hill, I prefer their teas to their lemonades. They're not bad, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the teas are the way to go.
I remember that they had a pomegranate lemonade for a time. I don't know if they still do, because I haven't been in that area I haven't lived in that area in a while, but I've been back. But yeah, the pomegranate lemonade was nice. I liked that one. It was very sweet and then very tart. It was like the reverse of a Sour Patch Kid.
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty good though. I liked it.
first it's sweet, then it's sour.
Exactly. Yeah, very conflicting, because yeah, you got punched with like the woo, and then you got punched with the sour after, like woo.
Double
A
whoop.
double. I was gonna say a double woo, if you will.
Ric Flair's favorite.
Woo. Anyway.
Woo! Anyway, I have brought the song today, and if we recall sequentially, last time I brought a song, I made Steven decide between which of the two we were going to present. I was going to present. Last time we did Vapin' in Vegas by Wolves of Glendale, and the opposite side of that coin, not that they have any relation to one another, I just happened, those were the two songs I had in my brain. I've chosen a song by Streetlight Manifesto today.
Yay.
Surprisingly, the first ska song that I have brought to the table.
Which is honestly very comedic. If you remember any of the earlier conversations when I was thinking that it was going to be you doing it the most.
Yeah,
And yet, here we are, about 6 months in, 7 months in, eight?
yeah,
Because we started in December, yeah. We started doing this, just everyone knows. You won't hear this until a few months from now, but we started back in December and did a few episodes here and there that didn't make it to the. They left themselves completely on the cutting room floor. and uh,
yeah.
and then we figured out what ones were good and what ones made sense, and we've been, consistent since then, barring any changes, knock on wood. But yeah, so we've been doing this for about 8 months, and we've been doing it at least once a week since then, and yeah, this is your first ska song. This is surprising.
It took me a while to get there. I figured it would happen eventually. Now, I did briefly think about choosing one of the newly released songs from their upcoming album, The Place Between the Stars, but I decided not to just because I don't think those are the final mixes of those songs, and I prefer to wait until the finished product is out because if it's going to take 13 years for them to release the finished product, I should give it its proper due, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I remember we were talking about this. I don't know if this was on show or not, or if it's even in B-roll. But I do remember talking about you saying that only a few got released, the reasons why, and that you think that there might be that chance that they'll remove them once the actual ones come out because it's not on anywhere else like Spotify or Apple. It's just three continuous songs on YouTube. Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct.
So yeah, and you mentioned that you thought that since they weren't, you know, on anything else, that's why they did it that specific way, so that it was easy to remove the paper trail, so to
Yeah,
say.
and that might not be the case, but I have decided instead to choose a song from their 2007 album, their sophomore album, Somewhere in the Between. The song I've chosen today is called Would You Be Impressed? And it actually was a single, which, you know, uh, does not mean that much in this day and age. Even back then, as a ska band, ska doesn't really get much radio play unless it's like late 1997. So,
Unless you were a real big fish, occasionally mustard plug, but mostly just real big fish.
Or the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, yeah.
Yeah, or the Bosstones, absolutely.
So, at the time, well, actually, a little bit about Streetlight Manifesto. Again, to go back to 1997, the lead singer, Thomas Kalnaki, actually originally fronted the band Catch-22, who they released the album Keysby Nights with Thomas Kalnaki at the helm, and that is very much considered like an essential ska album. What ended up happening after that is there were some creative differences, and Thomas left the band along with a couple other members, Jamie Egan and Josh Ansley, to form Streetlight Manifesto with members of another New Jersey ska band, now defunct, that was called One Cool Guy. And they actually first recorded an EP as the band The Bandits of the Acoustic Revolution. It was a 5-song EP called A Call to Arms, and they have actually never released anything since then, and that was back in 2001, I believe. They still perform, usually yearly, a couple shows a year, and it has expanded to the point where they have like a full orchestra when they do it. It's really cool. One day I would very much like to go see them.
Where do they play?
Usually in like the Jersey-Philly area, so it would entirely be possible for me to go. It's just it sells out so quickly.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's insane to know that they put out literally one album that we're at least aware of, unless they did something in like secrecy or just not published anywhere else and they just sell it at the shows. But like to only have one album's worth of stuff, only play 3 to 5 shows a year, and them always sell out instantly, that's still pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they usually perform Streetlight songs, as far as I'm aware, along with a couple of the couple songs that were on that EP.
Fair. That makes sense too then.
But this album came out in 2007, I believe I mentioned. So the thing with ska is it's kind of a polarizing genre. A lot of times I feel that it's like you love it or you hate it. But I also know a lot of people that don't like ska that like Streetlight Manifesto. And they kind of get lumped in with the third wave ska movement, like that sort of ska punk sound. Some of the songs we've covered on this program and the artists, Big D and the Kid Tablelist and Jake, are very much third wave ska punk. But a lot of people kind of consider Streetlight to be almost an outlier. I have heard them described as classical punk, which I find to be like a very interesting description that kind of fits.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that's an interesting term to use for it, but I can see that it works a little bit for sure.
And then the other term that I've heard, which is more silly, but I also really like, is Jersey Mariachi.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, so the lineup at this time, and they have had a lot of band member changes, but at this time, this recording was Thomas Kalnaki on guitar and vocals, Mike Brown on the alto saxophone and the baritone saxophone and vocals, Jim Conti on the alto saxophone and tenor saxophone and backing vocals. There's a lot of vocalists in this band. Everyone provides backup vocals pretty much.
Yeah.
Pete McCullough on bass, Mike Soprano on trombone, Matt Stewart on trumpet, Chris Thatcher on drums, and Damian Arriaga on percussion. Now, not all of these members are still in the band. There have been several lineup changes. Matt Stewart, unfortunately, passed away a couple years ago at the age of 41. And I believe his replacement, whose name I can't remember, I think it's Josh something, is actually in the band Lucky Chops, who are a brass and percussion band that actually just, like, busk in New York all the time. Like, that's kind of their thing. But, yeah, I think with all that information out of the way, because I know a lot about this band because they're one of my favorites, We can actually get to the song now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only thing I wanted to say before I went in there was it sucks how many people pass so early, and they just shorten, like, not only just musically, just in general in life. Because we were talking about some people pre-recording about artists that happens to as well. But like, to have it happen in any case in life, that just sucks.
Yep.
But
Agreed.
I'm very excited for Streetlight Manifesto. So
Now, as we're getting set up here, do you offhand know this song? Like, could you... is it one of those songs that you'll probably hear and be like, oh yeah, I know this? Or...
it's gonna be one of those ones where, as soon as I hear it, I'm either gonna instantly remember every word to it, or I'm gonna be like, why don't I know this one? Because
Okay.
I am familiar with Streetlight, as we've all discussed before. I think we've talked about them on the show, but
And just so everyone is aware, there is actually a music video for this song, which is pretty rare. So, if you want to watch along, be sure to look it up on YouTube. But without any further ado, this is Would You Be Impressed by Streetlight Manifesto.
Would you be upset if I told you we were dying? And every cure they gave us was a lie. Oh, they mean it when they say we're dead and doomed. And every single symptom brings us closer to the tomb. And who will take the credit for our tripped and bending fall? Because it's not my fault. Would you be impressed if I said that the dead would have us counting every single moment that we waste our time? All the time we're spending vaccinating this disease. I just can't see when I think of all the ways we try to hide our melodies. We worry, we died, and everything is fine because it's not my fault. Now you're upset because you finally got the notion that everything you had is spinning down the drain. Whoa, give me the one you're begging, pray, please. You give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, all those things we need. It won't break down when you wait for when your number will be called. You'll say it's not my fault. Go now, the others they'll await you. And every single one of them, a lot of you will have your turn. Aye, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa. Like moths that fly into the flame, it always ends up so. You scream, not me, take anybody else because it's not my fault.
Had a dream last night where everyone was trying. Subconsciously I knew it was a lie. And when I woke I knew that it was time to pray, to make amends before the end, before my judgment day. I looked around, I stood alone, I knew what I had to say. I said it's all my fault.
So, I probably should have mentioned this before we started, but if you did watch the music video, I should have kind of thrown up like a little trigger warning, because it is kind of a violent and grotesque music video. Despite the fact that it's animated in a very cutesy way, there's a lot of violence in that music video, and a lot of gore, not shown in huge detail, but it's something that I think people should have been aware of. Maybe I'll put that before the music video just in case.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's really funny that you actually mentioned the feeling of that and how it was kind of graphic, and the warning might, be good for some people to hear it and see it if you, for the shock value side of it. But I think the fun part about seeing it, because that's the first time I ever saw the video, number one. And number two, I did want to say that I did know this song, but I didn't know all the words. But I did remember parts of, like, I know the song, I loved the song, but this is one of the ones where, in my opinion, because I've listened to this band for a number of years, and I've probably heard the song a few hundred times, I didn't know all of the lyrics until now because I can see them. And I don't know if that's because of just their singing style in this, and like there are a lot of spots that are quite quick, where it might be
Yeah.
hard to keep up with it. I mean, even in the lyric page where it gave it to you, like there's a stream of like, give it to me, 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 where it's just no spaces, just right across like 40 characters. So like, I always got caught up in the sound of this song versus the lyrics of this song, and the sound of this song 100% matches the way that it's animated. But when you watch the video and if you see the words, those coincide perfectly. And it's like if you know what they're talking about the whole time, you shouldn't be surprised. But if you don't know what they're talking about, you will be. So this is definitely
Yes.
one that I suggest you see the lyrics yourself as well.
Talking about how you mentioned you know the song, but you might not have caught all the lyrics. It's a very dense song. There's
Yeah.
just musically, lyrically, there's so much going on that this is a song that would definitely be serviced by multiple listens, because we've talked about how a lot of times when we listen to music we kind of dissect it in the sense that we'll pay attention to one certain thing on each listen through, and this song, that's something you definitely want to do, because I've been listening to this song for almost 20 years at this point, and you know, the title of it, Would You Be Impressed, is kind of like a challenge, and every time I listen to it I'm like, I'm impressed. Jesus. Because just you can pick any instrument and just be like, holy crap, man. Like the drums and the bass are cooking. The guitar, while simplistic, at the same time it's quick, and you also have to realize that he's singing and playing at the same time, and the way he sings at such a frenetic pace, combined with
Yeah.
the guitar playing, it's more complex than it sounds. And then, of course, there's the horns, where there's moments where they're all playing in unison. There's moments where one of them will break out and you'll hear it soar above the rest. Or they'll break into different sections where it's three of them doing one thing, and then underneath there's a counter melody of two of the other horns doing something completely different, and yet it all still works.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said that better myself. And you can tell that you are a very big fan of them because of just, how much you know about what's going on. And you're right. And that's what's really great about this too, is because we have that insider view for someone that listened to it a bunch to be able to get those little notes and those little nuances, because I love because it's not my fault when that's going on. I'm pretty sure that's the trumpet, where it's just really like pronounced with him on his vocal beat as well. Like it's just like, you got to hear this part. You got to hear this part. This is the message that they're just blasting to you in the bullhorn kind of a thing, right?
Yes.
Like just that is one part where it really, like, I remember that's what really set the song home for me. Like when it came out and I was looking at the lyrics and I was like, those lyrics look familiar, but I can't sing them. Where was it? And then as soon as the opening line, would you be upset if I told you we were dying, I was screaming it in my room. So I almost unmuted myself. But then I was like, might not be good to have that on record. So I got myself muted.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like the lyrics themselves are still 20 years later extremely topical, where it's really just about like the world is going to shit and no one's doing anything about it. And everyone is aware that it's happening. Like, you can see it and point out all these things, and it's basically like being chronically online.
Yeah.
You know, where everyone's like, well, this is awful, and this is awful, and this is awful, and then someone's like, well, why don't you do something to fix it? And what will they say? Well, it's not my fault.
Exactly. Or what am I supposed to do? I'm only one person. Well, I saw actually something to that effect recently, and it was like one of those moments where everybody that watches any movie about going into the past, what is like that one thing that they always drive home?
Don't create a paradox. Like, don't change the past because it'll change the future.
Right. Don't touch anything because you don't know what kind of effect it'll have on the rest of the world and humanity, right?
Yeah.
Well, where's that fucking feeling when it comes to doing something for anything? Like, oh, well, I can't do anything. Well, if you picked up one piece of garbage, that's the one piece of garbage that someone else is going to see you do, and then that's going to make them want to do it, and that's going to start the ripple effect, the butterfly effect, that'll change the entire future, right? Like, damn, it's right there.
Yeah.
But I digress. That's 100% what it's about, and what's crazy is that exactly what you just said. For when this came out to where it is now, nothing's really changed in the terms of, like, everyone's doing what they want to do in their own report. They don't care what's happening around them. They don't care about it until it becomes them. Like, for those of you that have watched the video, you'll know what I mean. Those of you who haven't, and you go ahead to watch it, great. I hope you do, and maybe this little tidbit will make you want to go watch it. It is one of our graphic parts, but it's when the elephant stands on top of the car. Like, the guy was sitting in line and he didn't care, and then when he saw the elephant was on top of his car, he was like, no, 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 and he tried to get out of there, but he couldn't.
Yeah, and all he actually did was move forward like 3 or 4 inches because he's stuck in a traffic jam. And did he get out of his car to run away? Nope. He just sat in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely one of those songs, like where I mentioned before, and how you said too, if you don't listen to it enough times in a row to listen to all the different parts and start to pick out all the different words that he uses, because as you said, it is lyrically dense. He is singing at like double pace compared to his strumming, which again you mentioned, which is amazing, because like most of the time when you're singing and playing the instrument, you're trying to pick something that's relatively easy enough for you in a strumming pattern that you don't have to worry too much about it because of lyrical content, potentially, usually. I don't really see many guitarists other than here, where they're playing something, I mean, he's not playing something incredibly intricate, as you mentioned, but it's still pretty intricate, and then on top of that, with the lyrical content being as intricate as it was, it adds that extra level of, difficulty to it. But like, you don't see them singing like this and then also pulling off a guitar solo in the middle of it because of the amount of brain power and functionality that you need, I guess. I definitely don't understand how anyone could possibly do it, but yeah, I don't know what was going on and how he did it the way that he did it, but to be like, what, double time, almost triple time at some instances, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's just impressive. It's very wildly impressive to see the ability of that to happen. And I know I'm coming at this again as a fan of Streetlight Manifesto prior, not entirely like new to it, but it's not like this is something that happens a lot either in any kind of music, period. Not only just like, this instance, but like with ska maybe more so. But like, you know what I'm trying to say? Am I making sense here?
Yeah. It's just, I think it's interesting, and I feel like Streetlight is really the only band that pulls off kind of being like as intense as they are, like as a ska band, like,
yeah,
because I think that's kind of what one of the things that sets them apart is that all of their music really just has this like intense, frenetic, almost breakneck feel to it. Like, a lot of times when you hear other ska bands, yeah, they'll play quick, they'll have their kind of like punk songs that are faster and have that sort of pace to it, but I don't know, I just think Streetlight kind of has a different feel to them, and I think, again, that's kind of why people have trouble specifically being like, yes, they're a third wave ska band.
Right. No, I can see that, and I think that's... I don't know. I can see how they have the problems with putting it there, but at the same time, like, other than just the fun ways of saying Jersey Mariachi, and
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, you're giving them the respect of having their own unique sound, but they still belong to the ska genre, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if anybody wants to fight me on it. You can, but
Yeah.
that's fine. Everyone can have their different opinions. But like, as far, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's kind of like, when I think of ska music, I definitely put them into it. If that makes me a bad person, I'm not sorry for it. That's just one man's opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a quality to music in general that I really like, and it's part of why I like post rock so much. Is I like to call it basically just like a wall of sound, where it's loud, it's fast, and everything's just coming at you, and it's dense, and there's layers for you to pick apart. And I think Streetlight is the only ska band that manages to have that sort of quality. There's very close to the end of this song, there's that short moment where it's right at the end, where the drums actually go halftime, and if there is a rule I know to writing music, it's that halftime makes everything feel bigger, which that definitely is the case here, especially because this song itself is just almost entirely that fast breakneck pace, and then when you hit that halftime for just a couple seconds, you're like, ah, yes! And it's almost a sense of relief, and at the same time, it's like, that just feels huge. You know what I mean?
I do, absolutely. And like, it was very nice, like, just that, like, that change and having that gravity added to that part of the song. It was good. It was needed. I hate that I say it was good, because like, it's more than good, but like, in a song that's very amazing as far as I'm concerned, because it also had an element right after the first chorus, maybe second before the second. I don't really know entirely where it was at this point, but like, there was almost like it felt like it was a breakdown from like a hardcore band or like that kind of genre band, but it was just horns, and that is like my favorite part of the entire song. And I think that's probably why I never really picked up the lyrics quite enough, because I don't know, that part kills me every single time I hear that. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, you know that meme where like the kid like turns the amp up to like 1,000, and it's just like a shaking picture of him just like hand in the air, headbanging, screaming, like fuck yeah.
Yep.
Like yeah, that's me
Yeah.
every time that comes on.
Yeah.
Is a horn breakdown the best way to say that?
I think so, because, and to be transparent, I went back and forth between this song and another song from this album, which actually I think I like the other song more, but this one just kind of like had its hooks in me at the moment, and it might be one that I bring in a later episode, but the song is called The Receiving End of It All, and there is a breakdown at the end of that song that legitimately feels like it could fit into like a metalcore or a hardcore band just with horns, and it blows my mind every time, because there are bands out there that have classified themselves as quote unquote ska core, so ska but more leaning towards hardcore.
Yeah.
Those sort of qualities. I know early on in their career, that was something that the Mighty Mighty Bosstones did. They had a lot of hardcore elements to their music, and there was a band, I think, they're still around, called We Are the Union. Same thing, like, they had a lot of breakdowns in their songs, but I don't know, and it might just be like the rampant fanboy in me, which is entirely possible, but I still feel like Streetlight does it best. And they don't even classify themselves as that sort of ska core genre.
I mean, I'm not familiar with the others enough to say that they would even hold a candle to Streetlight, but I'm not afraid to blindly say that I would agree with you and say that Streetlight does it best because they do such a really good job with this. And like you said, like even having that call out exist, I don't know. It's neat to think that there's bands trying to do that. They're calling themselves that, but I don't know. I would still say Streetlight does one of the best jobs with that because that you just heard it here. Like if you haven't ever heard Streetlight Manifesto prior, if you didn't hear them replay Keys Be Nights, you really should. I'd highly recommend going to check that out. But to stay on topic, if you've never heard them prior, I don't know. If you didn't actually feel like a sense of being impressed by this, then I don't know what to tell you. If this doesn't make you want to listen to more by them, I don't know what to tell you either. I don't even know if you're alive. I'll just go ahead and be that aggressive and say, like, do you have a pulse?
Yeah. Again, I find it interesting that a lot of people that don't like ska are still like, Streetlight's pretty good though. It's kind of like in the sense of when people say stuff like, I don't listen to country music, but I listen to Johnny Cash. You know what I mean? It's the sort of thing where it transcends what that the boundaries of genre. I feel like it's part of that genre because if you had to classify it, that's where it would be, but it's not quite that either.
So I want to defend that because I think when people say country, I would say that country more inclines to like pop country.
Yes.
Because unfortunately, the umbrella of country music includes folk music, which is Johnny Cash.
Yes.
But would you say that Neil Young is country?
Probably not. So.
And are they not folk as well? Or am I thinking
True.
of right?
Yeah.
And that's, just putting that out there. That's the first one that comes to my mind because they're not very country at all, but they do have some country elements in the sense that they have maybe more acoustic guitar than anything else, and maybe there is a banjo every now and again, but whatever. It's not like they're not singing the songs with that heavy twang in their voice, like almost comedically, like they're trying to play a character. And then the same jokes that they always make about every country song. There's even a country song that makes fun of the fact that they make country songs, like what happens when you play a country song backwards. Instead of talking about that same stuff over and over again, which it almost always is in the pop country, the other folk songs like Johnny Cash, he's talking about, like, not just, I lost my horse and now I'm really sad. No, he's talking about killing a man. He's talking about watching people die. He's talking about going to prison and spending hard time. Like, that's not country. At least when I say country, that's not what I say is country. And I think that's the problem, is that folk music gets lumped into that way too often.
This is true. So I cannot argue with that.
I just wanted to defend that person and also myself because I'm the person that says, fuck country, but Johnny Cash is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we get into those things where I even said before, self-proclaimed problem when I said jam bands instantly don't want to listen to them. Or if it's an instrumental, I instantly think jazz band is what I should have said. Because that's what I did say way back when. And I did the same thing. It's a problem when you kind of you start to generalize things like that. And that's unfortunately what mainstream country radio stations did to that genre. They just absorbed folk and said, this is country too, thanks.
Yeah, and not to get super off topic, even though that's what we do all the time, was it just this year at the CMAs where they were like, well, now we're going to have like traditional country and contemporary country when considering awards for the artist because of the whole controversy about Beyonce and Cowboy Carter.
Oh, interesting.
So.
But then, I mean, what about, like, Old Town Road? Didn't when Lil Nas X redo it, country was like, that's us?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
But it really wasn't. It was just using a country song sample. It didn't have to be...
You know what's shitty about that is that wasn't even a country song sample, man. That was 9 Inch Nails. That was off of Ghosts 4, I think. Like, this fucking Trent Reznor. And he somehow turned it into a country song, quote unquote country. I'm not blasting him, I'm just saying, like, that's where it came from. It wasn't a country sample, at least.
Oh.
He took it and twisted it and turned it into what we ended up with.
I thought it was a Billy Ray Cyrus song.
At least the sample that the song was based off of was 9 Inch Nails.
Maybe Old Town Road is. Because
Old
I
Town-
remember...
Yeah.
Or Old Town Road, whatever that was. Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe. I'm not sure. But
I'm checking now.
I just
need
know
to
that
know.
the sample, or maybe, 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor does samples himself. So maybe the original sample that he used was from a country track that he took. You know what I mean? Because that's what happens, is a lot of times people will think the original is not actually
Right.
what the original is. So I could be wrong.
Well, even
And
like
just-
the sense where I preemptively went with Whitney Houston when we should have mentioned Chaka Khan, and we had to fix ourselves for it, right?
Yeah.
We
So,
make
like, a lot
mistakes
of people-
too.
Yeah, a lot of people think that Higher Ground is by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. No, it's Stevie Wonder. But because the Chili Peppers version got so popular, that's what they're familiar with.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I was one of those people that thought that for sure until I realized later on when you typed it in, you're like, wait a minute, there's more than one song by this name?
Yeah.
I quickly checked it, by the way. It is a Billy Ray Cyrus remix.
Okay.
I can't find when the original came out, but it was released in 2018 by Lil Nas X, but it says Billy Ray Cyrus remix. So I'm guessing that that's what it means. It's yeah. Oh, he recorded a remix with the American country singer Billy Ray Cyrus. So there was an original version that he did, and then there was another version that he released later with Billy Ray Cyrus singing on it. I don't know if there was any ties before that, but anyway, we're not here to talk about that today. We'll have to figure that out later.
Yeah.
I see myself tailing here, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't even what we're talking about. Oh, it does say he sampled 9 Inch Nails track, 34 Ghosts.
Yeah, okay.
So you were right. See,
That's
this
all,
is why...
that's all I needed to hear you say.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey!
See, this is why I desensitize myself, and I block up my screens so I don't go on these little, like, look holes. Like, look, gotta figure this out, gotta remember, gotta sleuth.
Yeah.
I like to pretend I'm that person on CSI that's just like, let me figure it out for you, boss.
Enhance.
Enhance. Oh, man. Anywho.
So, yeah, to loop it back to Streetlight, I think we did a fairly good dissection. I just want to sing the praises of the band as a whole. They are one of my favorite bands, have been since their inception back in 2001 when they released their first album, which actually came out in 2003, Everything Goes Numb. The album is called Everything Goes Numb. The single from it was Everything Went Numb. People have trouble making that distinction.
I'm already confused.
Yeah. But they're a band that I will always champion. Even if people are like, I don't really like ska, I'm like, you should still give this band a chance. Just because I feel like they have done enough to distinguish themselves and have enough variation to them that I feel like there is something for pretty much everyone to at least admire, if not enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm definitely not as versed as you, but I would echo that 100%. And before we wrap things up, don't forget, there's a message from previous Steven. That's right, because important long-winded information and ADHD don't mix. But I hope if you've made it to this point, you like what Scoops and I are doing, and hopefully you like it so much you want to shout it from the top of a mountain. But it would be a whole lot more helpful if you told your friends about us instead. Word of mouth or listening with someone is our favorite, but social media is also great, and you can interact with us there too. So please come by our Instagram, Blue Sky, or Facebook, where you can find us as The Feedback, or on Twitter formerly known as Twitter /X, at @thefeedback_PC to see what's coming next, suggest a song, talk about our latest episode, or just talk about anything.
And now that you've gone and done all of the social media things that you're supposed to do to help things go viral and blow up or whatever, I would just like to give a shout out to the artist who allows the use of our intro and outro music. Go check out the artist Exile. The track that we use, again, for our intro and outro is called Egg. It's a really good song. I listen to it on my own time, despite hearing it every time I have to edit our podcast. So that should say something to its staying power that I still enjoy it after all this time.
That's pretty good for credits for that, for sure. Because I can imagine, after as many episodes as we've done, you'd think that you wouldn't want to listen to it anymore. Or it would just be like flashbacks. The 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah. No, it's a good track. Definitely
It is.
Check it out. And I think that's going to do it for this week. Any final thoughts?
No, I think that's about it. Just go check out Streetlight Manifesto, for sure. If not only just for the song, but also to hear them play Keysby Nights is just also beautiful. So yeah, please, go listen to them.
Yep. I'm sure I'll bring more Streetlight to the table. New album should be coming out in a couple months.
I look forward to hearing it here first.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone, and join us next week for whatever we dig up next. Goodbye. Same. I mean, honestly, and I know that this is one that would get me some flack, but like a band that I feel that way about, that I know are super influential and people love, but I'm just like, I respect them for how influential they were, but they're not my cup of tea. Nirvana.
Same. Oh, jeez. Sorry, I didn't mean to just play my flute like that.
That's fine.
It's not actually a flute.
I don't know what it was. It was a very high-pitched sound.
It was, it's what they refer to as a Sherlock, but it can also be called a Wizard's, but it's just a really long glass piece. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've discussed it. Yeah, because we talked about the Keysby Nights, at least at some point we've discussed it recently. I don't know if it's on record or not, but not on record. On record.
It's the same word, just a different pronunciation.
Please make sure you edit some of this shit out.
On record. We've got it on record. Don't worry.
Fuck.
Yeah. Alright.
I'm glad we had a longer pause because I'm going to do a different one. Because I was going to say, speaking of echo chambers, check out our social media.
Hey.
Then I was like, maybe too satire.